The 19th Mayor and City Council meeting will come to order. If you want to speak at the general public hearing, please sign the sign-up sheet to my right on the table. I will limit each speaker tonight to 3 minutes with the regular meeting. I'll ask everybody to rise for the invocation led by the Reverend Warren H. Litchfield. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, led by Mayor Mo.
Almighty God, we gather this evening to conduct the business of the city. We offer our prayer for our mayor, for the president, for the members of the city council, and for all in authority. Grant unto them a sense of justice, strength, and wisdom as they perform their duty on behalf of all thy people. We commend this nation, our armed forces at home and abroad, our law enforcement and our fire and rescue, and thy people to their merciful care and understanding. We ask a special blessing on Marty as he goes into retirement. Remember those who lie upon a bed of affliction. Comfort those who mourn. In the name of the one who is Lord of life, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, Ms. Rau.
Mr. Sidnor?
Present.
Mr. Smalls?
Here.
President Les?
Here.
Mayor Mo?
I'll note that Ms. Nicholas is away at a funeral, and she's been gone the weekend. She'll be returning late tonight from down south. Move to agenda item number 2, approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes of the 18th meeting of Tuesday, October 9th.
Mr. President, I have a correction on the minutes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Sidnor.
And the minutes reflect on September 29th, I attended an MML meeting, but they should reflect September 26th of 2018.
You got that, Ms. Rau?
I do, yes.
Any other corrections? It's the pleasure of the council.
Mr. President, I move for approval of the minutes with the corrections made by Mr. Sidnor.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. Do I have a second?
Mr. President, I second it.
Thank you, Mr. Sidnor. Any further discussion? Call the roll, Ms. Rau.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Mr. Sidnor?
Yes.
President Les?
Yes. Agenda item number 3, and before we get the report of the city administrator, you want to hold off on that? Okay. I'll hold off on that.
They did pull. Oh God, it was out.
You got to let off the hook tonight. Mr. Goddard, that's fine. Okay, report of the mayor and city council. Tonight I'm going to start with Mr. Smalls.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had the opportunity to attend and participate in the Maryland Municipal League's fall conference that was held in downtown Annapolis. I also had the pleasure of attending the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department's awards banquet, and I'd like to congratulate all of the award recipients for their outstanding service to the community. I'd like to offer condolences to the Nicholson family. Wilbur Nicholson lost his brother Sammy, and so I'd like to extend my condolences to them. And finally, I'd like to announce, Mr. President, that on October 29th from noon until 7, the DC Home, I think that's the proper pronunciation of it, men's grooming salon at 317 Main Street will be holding a Cuts for the Cure for those folks who are dealing with cancer. They will be providing free haircuts and grooming for them. That's on October 29th.
Thanks,
That's my
Mr.
report.
Smalls.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mr. Sidnor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also had the opportunity to attend the Maryland Municipal League Conference, fall conference on October 11th, October 12th. And also on October 24th, I'm scheduled to go to the outreach and engagement committee meeting in Annapolis. So that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Sidnor. Well, I was signed up for the Maryland Municipal League. I got pulled into some conference calls in D.C. We're operating on a continuing resolution, and it's impacting not just the operating side of the House, but also performance evaluations and everything else. I want to thank Luann for taking my registration, so it didn't go to waste. Let me go ahead and pass this back to Mr. DeWalt for your report, Mr. DeWalt. I apologize. We got started. We got a tight schedule tonight. You have a report?
I'm good.
Okay, thanks. All right. We attended, as Mr. Small said, we attended Laurel Volunteer awards ceremony. It was very nice. I didn't eat much, but Mr. Smalls made up for me.
That I did.
Friday, October 12th, we had the ribbon cutting at the new Dunkin' Donuts. They don't call it Dunkin' Donuts anymore. They call it Dunkin'. And it's Dunkin' in Laurel. And it's interesting. Their emphasis will be on the drive-through now. And they're retrofitting many of their locations. This location is owned by an owner that has 3 other locations. So the one up the street across from the open mall is still open. This is a little different. And they seem to have a good clientele coming in and out of there. Thursday, October 18th, we attended Tip a Cop at Famous Dave's. I hope they made lots of money. Our police officers were doing a great job clearing the tables, making sure everybody was satisfied. Condolence to Council Member Valerie Nicholas on the recent passing of her aunt in Virginia. Finally, please be mindful when our children are out trick-or-treating. It's that season. We've got Main Street on Thursday, October 25th, and Halloween around Laurel on Wednesday, October 31st. That concludes my report. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Condolences to Councilmember Valerie Nicholas and the loss of her cousin as well. So, as you heard, Wilbur Nicholson on the passing of his brother. Get well wishes to Jane Bulla, who is a member of our CERT. Did have the opportunity to take part, as you heard, at the Maryland Municipal League Fall Conference, and well attended, one of the biggest they've had, and a lot of good training seminars as well. And we also received our Sustainable Maryland acknowledgement there as well, and just a very good conference. Although I didn't participate, I was told we had a lot of new faces and members of council, and the staff took part in the Walk Laurel Day, and I appreciate all that participated in that. The 116th anniversary of the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department celebration was held, and want to congratulate Travis Pearson, who is the chief, but also was named Firefighter of the Year. Friday night on the 19th, I did attend the reception they had in honoring the retirement of Randy Coop down off of Main Street on C Street, as well as attended the 33rd running of the Maryland Million over at the track on Saturday. Later that evening, I did attend the CERT Social, the Laurel CERT Social. Again, just want to acknowledge the different things that the CERT members are trying to do to get more participation and be involved in the community, and thought well attended as well. And then on yesterday, the Methodist Church, First United Methodist Church, had a luncheon for Bill Miles and his family, and I was happy to attend and participate in that. The October the 24th from 3 to 5 will be a business recognition celebration and special announcement at SIP on C Street. and that's on the 24th from 3 to 5, and the community's invited. This is, although we are working with that, it's really the state that is putting this on, and the state, some state officials will be here as well that day. On October the 25th, from 6 to 8, will be Trick or Treat on Main Street, and that is done by the Laurel Board of Trade, and want to thank them. That is a huge event. Parts of Main Street will be closed, as it was last year, but we ask everybody that's in the area to take their time, slow down, and make sure they're aware of what is happening on the street there. So it'll be a lot of activity. On October the 27th at 2 p.m. is the Halloween Spooktacular at the Robert J. DePietro Community Center, and that is put on by the Department of Park and Recreation, as well as the Laurel Lions Club and others that are participate in that. So if you've never been there, grab your costumes, bring your kids. It's a good opportunity at 2 p.m. October the 31st from 6 to 8 is the hours for trick or treat in the city of Laurel. We again remind everyone to be cautious on that night. There'll be a lot out in the streets, so just be aware and slow down as well. From November the 1st until December the 14th, we'll have collection cans at all of our city facilities. We'll be collecting non-perishable foods as we do every year for LARS at those facilities. We ask you to participate and take part. You can put those drop those off at any of our city facilities. And then on November the 2nd from 6 to 8 p.m. is our Harvest Moon Hayride and Riverfront and bonfire and all that stuff. So if you have an opportunity and never taken part in that, it's a really good time, family event. So on November the 2nd. Tonight at 5:30, we'll be having a reception for Mr. Flemion, who retired. Him and his family will be here. There'll be a reception out front. We've asked the president as we close out this meeting. I'll have some comments regarding Marty when all of them get here as well. And then there'll be some presentations by staff, and I think those some in the community have said they're coming to recognize Mr. Flemion as well. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. Move to agenda item 4, mayoral appointments. First mayoral appointment is for Michael Green to the Board of Trustees for the city retirement plans. Mr. Green is well known to the council members. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I move for approval of Michael Green to the Board of Trustees for the city's retirement plan.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. Do I have a second?
Mr. President. I'm sorry. Mr. President, I second that.
Thank you, Mr. Sidnor. Call the roll, Ms. Rau.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Mr. Sidnor?
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt?
Yes.
President Les?
Yes. Move to the second part of mayoral appointments. It's the appointment of Brian S. Keys, the Community Redevelopment Authority. We've been furnished the resume of Mr. Keys. I believe his wife is an employee of the city. Right. Yeah, Mr. Abel resigned, and we need to fill that position because it's a very small group. So again, as I said, his wife currently works for the city. You may know her. She's over in the DePietro Center.
Not while I'm appointed.
Huh?
That's not why I'm appointed.
I know that. But I put it out there just so there's no confusion. That's all, Mr. Mayor. Okay, what's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the appointment of Brian S. Keys to the Community Redevelopment Authority.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Mr. Sidnor. Have a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. DeWalt. Call the roll, Ms. Rau.
Mr. Sidnor?
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
President Les?
Just a note, I did speak to Donna Curry, the chair. She's happy to get another member on the board so that they can move forward with some things they have pending. And I vote yes. We need to have the general public hearing. Yeah, okay, the next thing on the agenda is general public hearing. Oh. Sarah, you're supposed to write some name in here. That's part of your job. Okay. I'll open the general public hearing at 5:15. I have no one signed up to speak. Is there anyone wishing to speak at the general public hearing? Seeing no one, I will close the general public hearing at 5:15. What I will do is we'll go into a short recess until we reconvene for the recognition of Mr. Flemion. 5:30. Thank you. Yeah.
It'd be a lot easier that way.
Give that to Kim.